Today we're going to move it up a notch. We're going to show you what your left wrist should look like at the top of your golf swing to ensure you hit the best golf shots possible. All right, this one's a little bit more complicated than usual. Let's assume that you've watched our videos, taken lessons from one of us, and you have a really sound grip and the golf swing is fairly good. That's all of you, I promise, I hope that's all of you. Okay, so we're past that stage. At the top of your golf swing, this is what I want you to think about and look at. At the top of my golf swing, at the top of most every good player's golf swing, they're resting the club on top of their left thumb. That is if they're right-handed. They're resting the club on top of their left thumb, which gives them the stability, right? They're gonna balance this club and they're gonna hold this club in position. So that's number one. So always think about resting the club on top of your left thumb at the top of your golf swing if you're right-handed. The other thing to think about is if I have the right grip and I make the right body movement, my left wrist at the top of my golf swing should be fairly flat. I have a watch on, I'm looking for a fairly flat left wrist. If you have a fairly flat left wrist and you're holding the club on your left thumb, that's a really good sign that as you come down into the back of the ball, you'll hit it, fairly squarely, you'll compress the ball and launch it towards your target. Where it gets a little funny is if you bow your left wrist or you cup your left wrist. Now this is quite common. If you cup your left wrist, that means you bend it like towards the watch. What that does is that opens the face. If I do this to square that club face up, I'm gonna have to hyper rotate my hands and arms or my body to square up the club. Otherwise the ball's gonna go right. If I bow my wrist like Xander Schauffele, like Dustin Johnson, like some of the better players in the world, that's gonna close the club face. What that does, that allows these guys to really pull with as much might and power as they can with their body, pull this club down, and they really just kind of hold the club face off and then flip the club face up. They don't really rotate the face, okay? So if you think you're Dustin Johnson and Xander Schauffele and you're gonna practice like 12 hours a day for the next 20 years, go ahead and bow that wrist and try that one out. I would recommend that you try to keep your left wrist as straight as possible, rest that club on top of your left thumb. That gives you the ability to hit a slight draw, a slight fade when you want, and hit it as squarely and as straight as possible.